Hi everyone! We are excited to introduce a powerful new feature of PTV Flows, the Historical Data Analysis Replay. Let's dive into a real-world scenario to show you what this tool can do. We are looking at the recent incident reported in Italian news, a serious accident near the Euro District, the most famous business district in Roma known for its skyscrapers, offices, and dense public transport network. Unfortunately, the accident involved a motorbike and a taxi, causing significant disruption. Several public transport lines had to be diverted. Now, imagine you are a stakeholder. You could be a city traffic manager or a public transport operator, or a deputy assistant trying to assess how quickly and how well the situation was handled. Using our new interface, we start our analysis loading data from September 8th, starting at 3:00 p.m., which is approximately when the accident occurred. Thanks to the distributed IoT database underlying PTV Flows, data load in few seconds. We zoom into the affected area and immediately notice a key performance indicator on a major corridor connecting the business district to the outskirts of the city. At first glance, the situation seems normal, but as we dig deeper, we notice a sudden drop in speed on the left side of the corridor, right where the accident happened. The initial congestion appears around 3:10 p.m. and 3:20 p.m., but the real impact unfolds later, as we will see. Going back and forth with the time buttons is useful to understand which segment initiated the congestion and how the congestion propagated around. It is also possible to download the KPI data that are shown. With a button near the date and time selector, it is allowed to download in a Parquet format all the data of the network of the hour so that you can do further analysis on Microsoft BI or other software. It is important also to remark that it is possible on the user interface to select specific road segments to show how the speed data performs during the hour and understand where there was a drop. Now we are ready to jump in time to the next hour at 4 p.m. By analyzing further the situation, we observe a significant change. In fact, while the immediate aftermath was contained, the real challenge began when authorities decided to reroute traffic due to the need to safely remove the vehicles involved in the crash. Between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., travel times remained quite stable, but from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., we see a sharp increase in travel time on the main corridor.
Why?
Because, as we said, traffic, both public and private, was redirected by the police in coordination with the Public Transport Authority. This rerouting led to a spike in congestion levels, which is clearly reflected on our KPI dashboard. The so-called unusual threshold, highlighted in yellow, shows that the current travel time has exceeded such threshold. Now the question arises, was this worse than usual? To answer that, we expand our analysis using the KPI dashboard. In this dashboard, we can analyze KPI trends and compare different weeks or months to understand the overall patterns. We now want to load data from September 7th to 18th so that we can compare what happened in the day of the accident with the average of the previous and following days in the same area. Interestingly, while the values on the 8th were unusual, they weren't worse. In fact, September 16th and 17th show even higher congestion levels. This tells us something important. The event was well managed. The travel time increase was notable, but not extreme compared to other peak events. And remember, in PTV Flows, unusual travel time, in fact, is defined relative to the typical day of the week and the hour of the day. So, peak afternoon hours can naturally show higher values, as we see in this case. Now you can see why with this news replay feature, it is possible to perform deeper, more contextual analysis of corridor travel times and KPIs. It helps us to understand traffic better and evaluate the effectiveness of our response strategies. Before we wrap up, let's recap what this feature really means for mobility managers, operators, and all stakeholders in traffic management. There are many benefits. First, you can truly rewind traffic history and observe how congestion and travel times evolved, pinpointing critical moments and hotspots that impacted mobility. This boosts the accuracy of your planning because you are basing decisions on a real examination of previous interventions. This supports and displays smarter decisions, especially when we need to inform people about what could happen during major events like a severe thunderstorm. The strength of HDA Replay is that it supports both visual explanation of past incidents and KPI visualization and measurements. So we can really understand how our corridors and their KPIs responded to specific events. Last but not least, this powerful tool allows us to clearly show stakeholders, whether it's the Deputy of Mobility, the Mayor, or anyone involved in decision-making, how we justify our actions as planners and managers of mobility and help us to support policy changes or funding requests.